What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're doing something a little different. I've never done anything like this, but I really hope you guys like it. Let's do it. So here in good old Peoria, Illinois, I am known as the Discraft fanboy. I own up to it. I live it. That's fine. I'm okay with that. So today, we're going to do a tier list of the Discraft discs. So in this video, we're only going to do the drivers. So we're going to do the distance drivers, and then we're going to move on to the fairway drivers. That's it for this video. Hopefully in future videos, we can do the rest of the lineup, mid-ranges, putters. That's really it. Okay, well, yeah. And a disclaimer, we're only going to do mostly the mainstream ones, because if I delve into literally everything they've ever made, this is going to be like a 40-minute video, and nobody's watching that. I mean, I'm not even watching that. So let's jump into it. Before all the Twitter people come after me and everybody comes after me in these comments, this is my opinion. My opinion. That's all it is. Take it how you want it, but enjoy the video. So the first one is going to be the Nuke. The Nuke, I want to put it in S tier really, really bad, because it's just like anybody can use it, but it's got to go in S. Yeah, it's got to go in S. It's just it's so consistent. You really don't get that much plastic that's like the different plastics that differentiate. You really don't get that with the Nuke, and it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. All right, next we'll go with the Zeus. The Zeus is actually one of my favorite discs, in my entire bag, but I'm going to have to give it an A. It is very consistent like the Nuke. I mean, of course it doesn't have the distance like the Nuke because the speed changes, but the Zeus also has a lot of inconsistencies with the plastic, especially the Big Z. A lot of the Big Z has that titanium feel, and it's so flippy. And I mean, that's how it's been for me. So, I mean, like I said, my opinion, I'm going to give it an A. Trust me, if I don't know what to do on a shot, I grab my Zeus, but I don't think it's S tier. Look at that thing. Hey, what you doing? Little cutie. Look at this cutie. All right, so now we're going with the Force. Force, there's no question about it. It is one of the best Discraft discs they have ever made. And I will never go away from that statement. It's so good. If you beat it up too much, it's still amazing. I have the flippiest Force ever, and I still utilize it in every round that I play. I really don't even think I need to say that much about it. It's such a good disc. You can throw it flat, it'll dump. It's so good. Okay, moving on to the Crank. I really don't use the Crank ever. I don't have it in my bag. I've thrown it a few times. I think it is a very, very, very good disc. I think it is, it's same speed as the Nuke, I believe, 13 speed, I think. I've thrown it, I threw when I first started playing in 2020, and I threw a lot of forehands with it. It was a really, 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 really good disc, but I don't think it's S tier. I'm going to give it an A. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give it a B. I'm going to give it a B. Man, dude, besides that one that I threw when I first started, I have not found a Crank that I've liked since. And I have really, really pretty ones, but I don't throw them well, and I don't like them. From there, we're going to move on to the Flick. I have never, ever thrown the Flick. I really don't have an opinion on it. And because of that, I'm just going to put it in the middle and give it a B with the Crank. I know a lot of people that throw it, and I've seen people throw it really well. It looks like a nice flight in the disc, but I've just never thrown it. So I'm just going to give it a B and leave it there. Going to the Hades. I love the Hades. It gets really, really flippy really fast. The first runs and the stocks are very, very different. First runs is you hit one tree with it and it's a roller. And the stock is, it's kind of like a Scorch. In my opinion, it's kind of like a Scorch. I have to give it a C. I know, you're unsubscribing right now. But hear me out. It is such an inconsistent disc. I bag all the Paul Macbeth molds. It is such an inconsistent disc. I don't think I can say anything else. That's really it. It's just so inconsistent. And like, oh man, I could throw the same power, same hyzer to have it flip to flat, and it'll be 2 different flights. Swear to God, every time. And I have to give it a C. Now that one's out of the way, we're gonna go with the Thrasher. I think the Thrasher is a better disc than the Hades. I don't think it's that much better. I think this one's the Thrasher. We're going to put it at a A. I think A or B. I'm going to go with A. I use the Thrash. I used it for a long time until I got more power. And man, it was such a good disc. It's such a good disc for beginners. It's a really good disc for FPO as well, or female divisions. It is such a good disc for the slower arm speeds, and I know a lot of girls that use it, and even beginners as well. Like I said, it's really consistent, more consistent than the Hades. That's why it's getting an A and not a C. Moving on to the Surge. The Surge is a recent disc that I've discovered. I haven't thrown it in anything except for ESP. ESP Flex at that. I've thrown ESP and ESP Flex. I really like those. ESP Flex I like more than the ESP. But I think it is a very consistent disc like the Zeus. But there are some inconsistencies with the plastic, just like the Hades and the Crank. I'm going to give the Surge a B. I think it is a very good disc. And I bag an ESP Flex one, and it's amazing. I barely put any power on it, and it's straight. I have to give it a B because of the inconsistencies with the plastic, and yeah, that's really it. I'm trying to find better excuses to give these things different grades, but I think B is solid for the Surge. I don't think it's very popular. I mean, which doesn't matter, but I don't think it's very popular. I don't think it's a beginner-friendly disc. I think it's a little too overstable for a beginner, but you'll get that with those higher speeds, of course. Okay, we're going to do a newer disc now. We're going to move on to the Scorch. I was a very big advocate for the Scorch for a long time when it first came out. I'm going to give it a B because, again, inconsistencies in the plastic. I can put the same amount of power on it, the same amount of hyzer to have it flip, and it'll do 2 completely different things with the same shot. I don't think it's a bad disc. I really like the disc. But I think B is a pretty good grade for it. All right, I'm going to lose a lot of you on this if I haven't already. Avenger SS. D. I'm giving it a D because at my level it's just way too flippy for me. Even as a beginner, I never really found a use for it. I bagged it because Brody came out with that 3-pack and I was like, ooh, I want to buy that. But that's really the only reason. I don't have a desire for the disc. Too flippy for me. It's not very appealing. Next one up is the Machete. Machete, I've already put so many there, but it's got to be a B. I've thrown it. It's a great disc. I prefer like a Raptor or Predator or something like that, and that's the only reason it's getting a B. I think for a very overstable disc like that, it's just not as good as the other competitors in the same manufacturer lineup. Whew. Another Paul Macbeth lineup disc, the Onyx. It's going to go in S. Wait, hear me out. When you first get it, it is a perfect overstable fairway. When you beat it in, it is and I mean absolutely gloriously perfect overstable fairway. When you beat it in, it's probably the best disc I've ever thrown beat in. because usually if you beat something in so much, sometimes you have to replace it because it's just too much. With this, I haven't found that. I've had this misprint Onyx that I've had in my bag for like almost 2 years now, and it just keeps getting better and better the more I throw it. And it glides forever. And now that it's beat in, it goes straight for so long. So long, I swear. It's like a 12-speed disc, but it's actually 10. It's crazy. On to a very similar disc, the Vulture. I'm going to give it an A. I really, really want to put it in S because it's very similar to an Onyx. But I think there are those differences, being less stable, of course. It's a very, very beginner-friendly disc, I think. I think every beginner should bag one of these. Once your arm speed gets up there, of course. But it's a very straight flying disc. When you beat it in, it will get flippy. The Onyx as well, of course, but the Onyx has that glide and a little bit more stability that's gonna, when it beats in, it's just more perfect. So that's why the Vulture gets an A. All right, we're finally here. The Raptor. So the Raptor is, where's it at? There it is. Okay. Straight to S tier. I think a lot of you will agree with me on that. I think it's a no-brainer. Probably one of the most perfect overstable discs, up there with the Firebird and FX2 from Prodigy. I know FX2, but still. I don't need to say anything else about it. It's S tier no matter what. Same goes for its newer component too. Captain's Raptor, absolute S tier. It's an even more overstable version of the Raptor. How could you not want that? It's perfect for flex lines. It's a perfect utility disc in the woods. Yeah, that's really it. It's great in the wind too. Perfect disc, going into S. Good job, Yuli. Next one up is the Predator. I throw the Predator a lot. I use my Raptors for forehands and my Predators for backhands. But I'm going to give the Predator an A. It is not up there with the Raptor, just barely though. I do like that little like gilded edge it has on the inside for like traction, or it's called a track or whatever. That traction it has when you throw. But there's something about the Raptor that makes it a little better than the Predator, and that's the only reason Predator is getting an A. Shout out all my Predator lovers out there though. Underrated disc, I think. Next we're going with the Undertaker. I'm going to put the Undertaker in... I don't throw it that much. That's why I don't want to give it an S, but I know all the Discraft community loves an Undertaker. Ah, man. Is there like an in-between? Okay, I'm going to put in A, but no, I have it. It's like, it's SA. It's like right in between. The only reason I don't throw them that much is because I throw the Onyx. But you know what? I'm putting it in an S. Because if that's the only reason I don't throw it, then it's got to be an S. I don't really need to say it's a very straight flying disc. It has like a sneaky stability that I really, really like. I think that's why it's really popular. It doesn't really flip over that much unless you want it to, so that's the good thing. Yeah, S tier. I don't know why it took me so long. Next up, one of my all-time favorites, the Mantis. Gonna give it an A though. I want to give it an S, but the problem with the Mantis is once it is beat, even though I still have mine in my bag for a turnover shot now, I used to be able to just throw it flat and have it turn over a little bit, or a hyzer and turn over a little bit. But now that it's beat, it's almost like I want to put a new one in the bag because it's too flippy. And I know once you beat things in, it'll become more flippy, more unstable. But like, there's something about the Mantis that's like, man, I really wish it didn't do that because it was the perfect disc before that. Still love it though. Next up, we got the Sting. I actually threw the Sting only once. I had a titanium one. I sold it after like 3 months of having it. But I think it was a very good disc. I'm going to give it a B just because what I hear from a lot of people is that the only Sting that's like, that actually flies true is the Big Z and the titanium. I don't like that in a disc. I think they should be more true, but we also have to adapt something other than flight numbers to have things fly more true to their numbers or rating or whatever it's going to be. Last but not least, the Stalker. I personally don't like it. I think it is a farther flying buzz. I will agree with that. That's why it's getting a B and not a C. That is the only reason it's not. I don't like how deep the rim is. I hate that. For a fairway driver, I hate that so much. I really want to give it a C really bad. You know, I'm doing it. Just out of spite. It's getting a C just because how deep the rim is. I don't like it. That's really it. You can disagree with me if you want, but at least tell me why. I think the list turned out pretty good. There may be a couple that are interchangeable, but other than that, I think I did a pretty good job on my first list. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Tell me what you think in the comments, of course. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye, guys.